top prop bets in NBA today, as well as some college basketball and some NHL bets. Let's get into it. All right, so getting into the board for today, this is going to be one of the better boards that we have gotten, it seems like, in over a week. Okay, looking pretty strong, and there is one bet that is really just sticking out as I start this video. Hopefully it's there by the time you guys are viewing this video. It probably won't be. Let's start off with that one. And once again, the reason why I like to start out with these is just literally because these will be taken away as the day progresses. And so I want to start out the video with this so that as many people can get these really good lines that we're getting. And these are very much just line-based bet. All right, so looking at it, Kevin Hayes over 2.5 shots on goal right now on average is set at minus 182 across the sports books. Minus 182, and it's plus 140 for the under. Minus 182 for the over is pretty crazy. Now, if you pull it up on DK Sportsbook, they have it set at minus 165. Now, the only thing that I caution against is like, why haven't they bumped it up? That's my biggest question. And it's just probably because they think he's going to get 3 shots on goal. They don't want to bump it up to 3.5 shots on goal. Okay, so probably looking like 3 shots on goal for Kevin Hayes, but that is just a number that we really can't pass up, right? So that's going to be one that we're looking at for sure, NHL-wise. And then here we have another one where we are favoring the over as well. This one we're getting at an average of minus 152 for the over as well. So another really good line that we're getting. And then the under is set at plus 116 across the board. So if you look at it, DK Sportsbook a little bit tighter. They have it set at minus 140, but that is still going to be a good number that we're getting. That's still a number that we would want to chase day in and day out. And now another one in which the under is being a good bet. We got Seth Jarvis under 2.5 shots on goal set at minus 155 on average across the sports books. So the over is actually set at plus 125. So another really good number that we're getting there. Obviously, people are seeing the green. They're probably going to be worried about that one. I'm assuming that's why we're getting this line. I'm assuming he's been over his average a lot more recently. Thus, the sportsbooks are saying that he's going to be under it. And yeah, looking at DK Sportsbook, they have it set at minus 155. So 2 really strong bets right out the board that we're getting that also correlate on DraftKings Sportsbook. I always mention I like to see the same consistent message across the sportsbooks. I don't like to see different, peaks and valleys in a prop that pulls in a kind of strange average. So I like to see that DK is also giving us the same message there. And then this one's only okay. Anders Lee under 2.5 shots on goal. This is set at minus 140 on average across the sportsbooks. A good line, but not perfect. I'm actually curious. I didn't look at DK yet for this one. DK also has it set at minus 140. So at least we're getting a good message across all the sports books. DK is also saying minus 140. And then the last one, another under. And guys, I mentioned I don't like the unders. Yesterday would be a perfect example of why. One of the unders, that was like minus 155. I think it was the strongest bet that we had on the day. Team pulled their goalie. They end up getting a late goal. Game went to OT. And then 3 minutes into OT, the guy got the over, which was heavily painful. 30 seconds left I think it was like 20 seconds left when the goal went in to send it into overtime. That was painful, but that is just, I don't know why, it's just more stressful for me betting the under than the over for some reason. It's just painful. It's more painful, I guess, is the way to describe it. And that's why I always kind of say I don't like betting the unders. But here's another good under that we have. This is set at minus 155 across the sportsbooks on average. And then pulling up on DK, we can also see minus 155. So another good number that we're getting there. So to me, like pairing Kevin Hayes, and this is kind of a separate thing, pairing Kevin Hayes with some of those other stronger minus 150 bets that we are getting, I think that's going to be the route to go. I already have some bets in there that are going to be like 6 different variations of that, but I'm also putting some bets out there on the minus 150 numbers as well. On average in the long term, if we're chasing those ones that have over a 50% chance to hit, obviously they're going to hit. They still have about let's just say 47 to about 40% chance not to hit. But in the long term, these are going to be ones that hit. Okay. And so that's really what we're trying to do here. But minus 180, that is just a crazy number on average across the sportsbooks. So getting into the NBA side of it now, there are some situations in which we don't have the news just yet. Giannis is currently questionable, probably not going to play. For Houston, we're not getting the best props right now, even though Jalen Green and also Kevin Porter are going to be out. That's kind of unfortunate, I would say. I thought that'd be a good spot for us. And then the biggest worry is that some of these teams that have made switches to the roster, what is the minute allocation going to look like, right? That's the biggest worry. And so my biggest question really is, what will the fantasy scores be today? Because I think that's going to be a good route to go. That was the best route to go yesterday. My 2 favorites as the day went to was Jaren Jackson in the morning over fantasy points, and then Michael Porter Jr. over fantasy points as well. Aaron Naismith actually got his over fantasy points. If you guys were looking at the 9-to-5 board here, that was one that was popping up, and I kind of went on a tangent saying like he always goes off for fantasy points. It's weird. And he got the over, so that was pretty awesome. But looking at it, I think we get one really strong NBA bet, and that's going to be Mike Conley over 6.5 assists. Now, this is one that obviously we need to caution against slightly, was just traded to the Minnesota Timberwolves. We don't know exactly what to expect from him, but he does get a good matchup against Charlotte. Let's go ahead and pull that game up here. So a pretty high scoring game, right? So thus, in theory, maybe a few more assist opportunities. And it's not exactly a game that's looking like a blowout. 6.5, I start to worry about a blowout at 7.5 points. And really the biggest worry with that is wondering if a player is going to get their final rotation or not. But I want to pull this up to show you guys kind of why it's the best prop that we're getting. Well, on average across the sports books, they have the over set at -145, over 6.5 assists. And I actually have them projected to get 8.5. Now, the biggest worry that we have is that this projection is somewhat based off of his average points scored throughout the year, or average assists scored throughout the year, right? And so the issue is that he's on a new team, and a team in which I wouldn't say it's the best for scoring. He needs to get some dump offs to Rudy Gobert in the paint. Like if he can get 4 assists by doing that, that's going to be huge. And then we just need, 3 other ones, maybe 2-3 balls that go in from someone else, and then just one other lucky one. But we can see across the board, like this is a very solid number. This is a number that I'm assuming is going to change throughout the day. So this is something that I think we should be, attacking. And so looking at it, we can see average minutes, 29.1, projected to get 33 minutes. And so let's see if that's like on point with what we have seen thus far with him as he's been on the Timberwolves. So yes, the minutes seem to be up a little bit as he's been with the Timberwolves. That's something that I like. So that's going to be a prop that I think we can chase. So now just looking at some other NBA bets that we are going to get. I also do like Drew Holiday over 7.5 assists. Now it's not a lock and load and it's not pretty. I want to make that very clear, especially given the matchup with Miami. This is very much a bet based off of Giannis being out. If Giannis is out, Drew Holiday does see a bump in usage, right? Like we all know that. With Giannis out, he averages 9.2 assists per 36. And so the biggest question is probably going to be, well, is he going to get 36 minutes? It does seem like that's a good likelihood going against Miami. Like if we pull up that game, it is a game that's supposed to be close. And also we can see not the issue is it's not the highest over and under. But if we pull up his game log as well against Miami, we'll see some good things. Now, the last game against Miami, not. Only 2 assists. That's the biggest worry. But the previous 2 games, 10 and 11 assists. And that might be partially due to maybe a poor night shooting in one of them. But the fact is, like 2 out of 3 games, he's really smashed the over here. And now we get Giannis out. So you can kind of see why it's an appealing one to me. And also, guys, I hate that they do this. Like, I don't care about the All-Star game. Why are we including the All-Star game into the sample? Get it out. Get it out. So on the season, he does average 7.1. So if he hits his average, that's not good. We need a little bit more. But it's decent. Like, I don't know. At the same time, it feels like we're forcing it a little bit. And when I started this video, we weren't getting a line on it. And now we are. So actually the under's being favored at 7.5. So that's where it feels like it's forcing it. So probably just one that we stay away. At the same time, I guess I wouldn't be shocked if the over hits. And maybe that's a situation in which if you are betting on DK, you could just bet it here. And that'd probably be the route I go with. No need to use that with PrizePicks. PrizePicks, we want to have all the data correlate together. And then just to call it out as well, like Jabari Smith, I think we could also bet the under on DraftKings, because Jabari Smith's per 36 numbers are 16 points per 36 with Jalen Green and with Kevin Porter off the court. Now it's -140, whatever, not the best value in terms of like betting on DraftKings, but 16 points per 36. Like he's probably not going to get 36 minutes. And that's the biggest problem I have right now with this Houston game. I want some Eason props and we're not getting that. But looking at it here, this is probably just a stay away. And that's also my issue with Houston. Now, as it sits right now, I'm not seeing any that I love just yet. Otherwise, it kind of feels like we'd be forcing it in there if we were trying to find one. And so maybe as the day develops, we'll find some. And then just real quickly, a college basketball prop that is kind of sticking out as well. It's just Carter over an 11.5 points. DraftKings has the set at -140. So that's the best college basketball prop that we're getting. So to me, this is what today's bet would look like. It'd be a combination of using Kevin Hayes with some of these other NHL bets that we are getting. That's also obviously going to be for you guys to decide if you want to do that. I do like using Mike Conley with that. I feel like that's a strong prop that we're getting. But that's all for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the coverage. If you did, give a like and subscribe. Let's have a good slate. And as always, let's keep cashing.